Good evening, dear viewers, and welcome to the News Bulletin at 8, brought to you by our number one news provider, Eswatini TV. I am Nondumiso Vilagati alongside Nomakabiso Nkambule, and here are your top stories. The Prime Minister Cleopas Dlamini has returned from Ethiopia, where he had gone to represent His Majesty King Mswati III. The Minister of Natural Resources and Energy, Peter Pembe, says the ministry is working closely with other ministries on plans to address water harvesting. Preparations for the external examinations by the Exams Council of Eswatini are at an advanced stage. The news. The Prime Minister Cleopas Dlamini has returned home from Ethiopia, where he had gone to represent His Majesty King Mswati III on the 35th Assembly of Head of State and Government of the African Union. Some of the issues discussed during the summit were that of strengthening food security in Africa and social protection.
The Prime Minister Cleopas Dlamini is back from Ethiopia, where he had gone to represent His Majesty King Mswati III on the 35th Assembly of Head of State and Government of the African Union. The Prime Minister landed through the King Mswati III International Airport. Reporting about the meeting, the Prime Minister says they talked about strengthening food security in Africa and social protection as well as security. The Prime Minister says there were decisions and resolutions that were taken during the summit.
In compliance with the culture of the Union, a new chairperson took charge of the year 2022. In this connection, President Macky Sall of the Republic of Senegal was elected as chairperson and took over from President Felix Antonio Tshisekedi Chilombo of the Democratic Republic of the Congo. In the same summit, the theme of the year was launched to give a merited focus for all African economies for the year 22. The new theme is as follows: strengthening resilience in nutrition and food security on the African continent, strengthening agro-food systems, health and social protection systems for the acceleration of human, social and economic capital development. Decision on the report on the activities of the Peace and Security Council and the state of peace and security in Africa. This is a decision underscored the importance of Africa to speak with one voice of all matters relating to peace, security and stability in the continent. This is when Eswatini emphasized the same virtues of the maintenance of peace and security in Africa.
Among the delegation of the Prime Minister to Ethiopia was the Minister of Foreign Affairs Thuli Dladla and the Minister of Agriculture Jabulani Mabuza, since food security was amongst the topics during the African Union Summit. For Eswatini TV News, I'm Kian MCB at the King Mswati III International Airport.
On another note, the Prime Minister has strongly warned Mswati against misconduct on social media platforms where many seem to lose respect for the country's authorities. The Prime Minister says Mswati should not lose their cultural values and respect and be carried away by the social media pressure.
Sekusho kuba betetnhlitiyo temaswati nangabe utawuthi umuntu noma ngibani nje agula kube khona labacabanga ukuthi bangagiya ngako lokho kusho ukuthi vele asasilo live sekutaka khona ukuthi noma siva ukuthi ukhona lo shonile sihambe siyohlabelela lapho sigiye ngako. So siyakwekhuta vele siyakukondema angathi yini igama lekondema ngeSiswati ukuthi akwendiwa akusiso Siswati noma ngabe sitha sakho noma ngabe ngibani letha lo ukuthi lo muntu lo lesikhuluma ngaye umphasi welive umholi awu asikwati asibathi sibaconzene sibathunywe ngibani lokuthi bakhona labathi bafuna kutohlasela i-airport angadi singemaswati nathi siyakubuta nje usi batawutholani for what useful purpose khona yini nalinye Swati lo ngathi wena lokuthi ufuna ukusita eMaswati ungalisita ngekuthi ubulale lokukhona. Ngicabanga abantu abaphilako labo angathi noma bathi ishito nisibabo bani, kepha nje nawe uthi uyakubuka akusibo abantu abaphilako vele. Umuntu angasho ukuthi nabete batawuhlangana naloko lebafuna ukuthola kude lesingakusho vele ngoba abaphili vele singasho njalo.
The Minister of Natural Resources and Energy, Peter Pembe, says the ministry is working closely with other ministries on plans to address water harvesting through the country's dams during the rainy seasons. Currently, all the country's main dams are overspilling due to the ongoing rains.
The Kingdom of Eswatini continues to receive normal to above normal rains that left the country's main dams overspilling with damaged bridges and roads. The Minister of Natural Resources and Energy, Peter Pembe, says the ministry is working with other government ministries on water harvesting initiatives through the country's dams during rainy seasons.
Kangwane sinawo amadamu lamakhulu la nemthamo lovakalako. Sinemithetho ke lekhona yokongiwa kwemanti ukuthi siyahlephulelana nabo makhelwane. Kuloko ke sisebenzisana nelitiko la agriculture. Ngilo nje leli lihlahlandlela enzabeni yokuthi kube nemadamu lata kwenta ukuthi kungabi ngemadamu longelwe ukuthi kutawunatha abantu kuphela noma sitawuphehla gezi kuphela. Kodwa kufuna kuphindze bese kuyaniselwa kwentiwe agricultural projects. Ngiko ke lengithi noma kungithi labaphethe kuloko kodwa sisebenzisana nalamanye amatiko kude le project itophumelela. Atawakhiwa ke madamu lo sikhuluma nje kunelidamu lelikhulu letawakhiwa entasi eshiselweni lelitakwenta ukuthi kwanze kulima kulesa sigodi sicoshe indlala eveni emva kweminyakana nje livela kangwane kutawuphela ukuthi lide kuhle.
The minister further mentioned that the ministry is about to develop the raising of Hawane Dam wall by 4 meters, which will avail water to Mbabane town and surrounding areas. The minister also said a number of feasibility studies in some dams will be conducted in the near future, such as Silingane Dam and Silele Dam. Reporting for Eswatini TV News, I'm Samkel Suekoza with Muslim Konda, Babane.
Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, SADC countries, Eswatini included, recorded a 40% reduction in inflows of foreign investors. This was said by Eswatini Investment Promotion Authority Chief Executive Officer Sibani Mgomezulu, who added that the establishment of the Eswatini post-COVID-19 economic recovery plan contributed immensely in saving people's jobs when the country was hit by the pandemic.
The 2020 World Bank report on the assessment for the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on trade indicates that the effects of the pandemic has let down efforts by African countries to attain most of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. On investments, Sibani Mgomezulu, who is the Chief Executive Officer at the Eswatini Investment Promotion Authority, APA, says SADC countries, including Eswatini, saw a 40% reduction in foreign investment when the pandemic hit.
COVID-19 has really affected us, similar to other economies, globally and in the region. We saw Southern Africa, of which Eswatini is a part, being hit by a reduction in inflows of foreign direct investment by up to 40%. And how that has affected us as a country is that we've seen a delay in projects being commissioned. We've also seen perhaps a reduction in the ambition and the size of the projects the investors would have gone ahead and invested in. But fortunately, we've not really seen much in terms of people withdrawing projects. So we still believe as an economy, we are going to continue to create jobs, but perhaps not at the scale we would have expected prior to the advent of COVID-19.
Mgomezulu says the establishment of the COVID-19 economic recovery plan by the Kingdom of Eswatini has contributed in saving jobs.
It was one of the first countries in the region to develop a post-COVID-19 economic recovery plan, and we as IPA are a stakeholder once again in terms of what the different streams that government has put in place. We've got government and infrastructure projects, we have a small, medium and enterprises development, and we also have an enablers forum whereby we try and look at identifying obstacles to people investing and growing their businesses and removing those obstacles to enable people to invest. So our post-COVID-19 economic recovery plan has actually contributed to saving jobs and ensuring that the economy keeps going. In terms of trade agreements signed with countries, we've got a number, both in Africa as well as elsewhere in the world. But what we've found is, whilst the trade agreements have been signed, we've not necessarily seen us as a country taking advantage of those trade agreements. So our belief is we need to grow intra-Africa trade first, even as we explore opportunities to export beyond the African continent. But currently, trade with our neighbors itself is very low. If we grew trade with our immediate neighbors, as well as in the region, we believe that the country could derive a lot of benefit from that.
Other trade agreements that Eswatini is part of include the African Growth and Opportunity Act AGOA and the Economic Cooperation Agreement signed in 2018 between the Kingdom of Eswatini and the Republic of China, Taiwan. Reporting for Eswatini TV News, I'm Samka Suekoza with Muslim Konta, Babane.
The Director for Communications in the Ministry of Information, Communications and Technology, Andreas Lamini, says artificial intelligence is important to be utilized in different sectors and ministries for efficiency. Lamini was speaking during the AI meeting held in Babane.
The Artificial Intelligence for Leaders Roundtable 2022 held under the theme AI Solutions for the Present Providing a Brighter Future presented opportunities and values for data in different sectors such as health, business and education. The Director for Communications in the Ministry of ICT, Andreas Lamini, says artificial intelligence will bring new opportunities and shape different sectors for the better.
Shokuthi artificial intelligence leyo ngama-robots lalo lapho khona sithuma lama-robots ukuthi ende imisebenzi lefanele singayentiwa abantu, but ukhanze kokuthi lama-robots akwenda ngendlela le-reliable ngaso sonke isikhathi le-consistent and ngaleni ebuhlakanipha lobuthide. Kuliciniso lokuthi kufike kuthathe leyo msebenzi yona, kepha-ke kubese kudala leminye imisebenzi lebese seyiyavela emva kwaloko ngenxa kokuthi sekufike lobuciko lobunye lobusha lesebukhona.
The CCG Systems Executive Director Walter Mwandi says governments, including Eswatini, should consider investing towards infrastructure in artificial intelligence.
In general, there is a big drive by organizations, international or otherwise, even other countries, to invest in Africa. So a country like Swaziland would be a perfect fit. Because let me maybe start by giving an example. Microsoft has gone to one of the smallest islands that you can think of, and they're actually putting their data centers underwater. I think the first thing that we need to invest in is connectivity, just to make sure that we've got very high-speed internet available easily, because once we have high-speed connectivity, we can tap onto other data centers.
A number of panelists made different presentations on different issues, such as sectors that AI is utilized, such as financial inclusion, health, and the agricultural sector. For Eswatini TV News, Sondomlangeni Nfuminkosinzinisa in Babane.
Preparations for the external examinations by the Examinations Council of Eswatini are at an advanced stage. According to the Ekeswa Registrar, Dr. Edmund Mazibugo, the council is in a process of engaging head teachers on expectations towards invigilations.
It is all systems go for their pupils to sit for external examination in Eswatini. According to the Ekeswa registrar, Dr. Edmund Mazibugo, head teachers are encouraged to attend the workshops as there are new expected ways to do invigilation during the examination that needs to be communicated. Mazibugo says the council received quite a number of applications from teachers who are interested in marking. He says the council also needs to train those markers as well.
Sesikwendile konke lokubhekisa sikwende nyalo nje nasesenda process licishe ibe sekugcineni lena ukuthi sihlangane nema-invigilators nabaphathi betikolo.
Mazibugo says numbers of pupils who will be sitting for the examination are more than those who sat for the examination in previous years. It is for that reason that more markers are needed. Mazibugo further stated that some pupils started their practicals in January. For Eswatini TV News, Sondo Mlangeni with Vumenkosi Nsinisa in Ezulwini.
The Taiwan Africa Vegetable Initiative, TAVI, has started a training for extension officers from the 4 regions of the country on traditional vegetables farming. The training started at Bethel Court, Ezulwini.
Taiwan Africa Vegetable Initiative, also known as TAVI, in partnership with the Ministry of Agriculture, has started a training with agricultural extension officers aimed at improving food and nutrition security. TAVI aims at boosting the supply of fresh and nutritious African vegetables to diversify home and school meals. In this training, extension officers will be trained to strengthen the capacity of farmers and rural households in the production of African vegetables. This includes cowpeas, also known as tinhlumaya, mingpin bomkombeni, jute mallow, which is ligusha, tomatoes, amongst others. Sophia Yang, the second secretary in the organization, says this project is aimed at addressing neglected vegetable production in the country.
I think this is a very good thing to promote. We all want to bring the good nutrient food to our kids, to our family, and we also want to do it in a very simple, easier way.
Monica Morata, the project manager, says this is aimed at changing the mindset that traditional and vegetable are weeds.
These are actually nutrient-dense vegetables which we need to consume if we want to fight malnutrition in our country, not just in our country, but this is a big problem even in the sub-Saharan Africa, in other parts of the globe. So one of the ways that we can do that is by introducing these vegetables, which are very rich in nutrients.
The senior extension officer, Ndogozo Dlamini, says this will be a trainer of trainees for farmers to produce these vegetables.
Once the lifetime of the project expires, everything expires. So may I plead with the extension staff to please make sure that not only this project, but all projects that we have do not expire once those who are funding the initiating of the project leave the country or the project is closed up.
By the year 2023, the goal is to see traditional seeds being supplied to schools and capacitate different stakeholders, improve production, as well as post-harvest and handling, as well as domestic market tunnel. For Eswatini TV News, I'm Kian MCB, Ezulwini.
Artificial intelligence can play a huge role in providing new business model in Eswatini. According to the Central Bank of Eswatini Governor Majosi Sithole, who was represented by Phile Nxumalo, says business is moving to the right technology advanced innovative direction. Nxumalo was speaking during the AI meeting for leaders in Hilton Inn Hotel.
During the meeting where artificial intelligence was discussed at length, the importance and value of data and AI in financial sector was also discussed. The governor for the Central Bank of Eswatini's representative, Phile Nxumalo, says artificial intelligence enables 24/7 customer interactions.
Siwabonile emabhange
nangabekisa nje sekayakwenda ukuthi thathe i-information noma sithi i-data ibasite ukuthi bakhone ukukuniketa lawo ma-products or services.
She says that AI will also assist that everyone be included through digitalization. She says that people are able to get assistance even during the night. Umalo also stated that some of these programs are not new to Eswatini. The Director for Communications in the Ministry of Information Communications Technology, Andreas Dlamini, says the country has put in place different legislation that will ensure privacy and security.
Kunemitsetfo wekuvikela batsengi uma ngabe uthenge waphendza wabhadala usebenzisa lecwephesha i-data electronic transactions live kulungiseke konke kokuzama kokuthi sive siphephe etingotini namatsabelangoti langabakhona kuleti.
For Eswatini TV News, Sondomlangeni Nvuminkosinzinisa in Babane.
The Kingdom of Eswatini virtually joined a UNECA seminar on the impacts of COVID-19 on small and medium enterprises held in the United Arab Emirates through the Dubai Expo 2020. The Director of SMEs at the Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Trade, Mluleki Dlamini, says SADC countries were sharing their experiences and on how they can build back the economy.
The Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Trade on Tuesday participated in a United Nations Economic Commission for Africa UNECA seminar held in the United Arab Emirates through the Dubai Expo 2020. Joining the seminar virtually, the Director of SMEs in the Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Trade, Mluleki Dlamini, says SADC countries shared their experiences on how the COVID-19 pandemic impacted on micro, small and medium-sized enterprises. Dlamini says countries then recommended that they jointly form a financing model for SMEs.
The discussions were around the impact of COVID in the MSME sector. So majority of the countries in their presentations did highlight that businesses were affected in terms of loss of revenue and also some of the employees losing their jobs and having no livelihood after that. So we basically need to look at strategies even in the region on how we can assist these businesses to come back into business once again. So basically the Secretariats will be coming up with a strategic document that the region will have to look at in terms of reviving the MSME economy so that they can continue to contribute into the national economies of SADC, commerce and other regional integration blocks.
The Director also delivered initiatives done by the government of the Kingdom of Eswatini to support SMEs in the COVID-19 era and the effectiveness of the country's policies focusing on SMEs. Reporting for Eswatini TV News, I am Samkel Suekoza in Babane.
Dear viewers, and now take a look at our financial updates.
Standard Bank. It can be.
Welcome back. You're still watching Eswatini TV, and here are your sports news. Eswatini Athletics Association, in conjunction with athletics clubs, have launched the Athletics Association Half Marathon Road Race, expected to take place on the 19th of March this year. This will be the first local road race by the association in nearly 2 years due to the coronavirus pandemic. The launch was held at Sekwaca House in Babane.
After nearly 2 years without road races by the Athletic Association of Eswatini, the association, in conjunction with the clubs, launched Athletic Association Half Marathon to be held on the 19th of March this year. The association's president, Zakir Dlamini, says the race will assist athletes and clubs to ready themselves for the upcoming road competitions such as Wafa Wafa.
The competition that lacks sponsorships but is self-sponsored by the clubs and the federation, each and every club would sponsor a water point, and the federation would then cater for the medals, and members of the different clubs would then come in, participate, and there would be medals, there would be race numbers.
Tsizwa Twala, who spoke on behalf of the athletes and clubs, applauded the association for seeing a need and return road races.
Let's own up, we are the custodian. COVID race.
The competition will have two stages, being the 21 kilometers and the 10 kilometers. They will both start at 6 in the morning at Olympi Africa, Lobamba. Registration will cost around 50 emalangeni, and athletes will register online through the association's Facebook page. For Eswatini TV Sports, Fabrice Msonera, Mbabane.
Secretary General of Eswatini Netball Competitions Committee, Bongiwe Kamete, says the ongoing pre-season tournament will serve as a preparation for clubs within the 8th division and the B division, both under male and female, for the new Netball League season to begin in April this year. Kamete says the pre-season will last for a period of 4 weeks. Kamete was speaking to Eswatini TV Sports at Lobamba.
In one way of assisting netball clubs, both male and female, under A division and B division in preparations for the new Netball League season, the association is conducting a 4 weeks pre-season tournament.
So a pre-season tournament here for cinema teams lang 6.
Bongiwe Kamete, who is the Secretary General of the Competitions Committee within the association, says after a long period of break due to the coronavirus pandemic, they have found it fit to organize something that will usher clubs into the new season.
But we are hoping to see games are interesting as we proceed with the games.
Kamete concluded mentioning that the league is expected to start on the first week of April this year. For Eswatini TV Sports, Fabrice Msonera, Lobamba.
That is all we had for tonight, but before we wrap up, let us take a quick recap of today's headlines. The Prime Minister Cleopas Dlamini has returned from Ethiopia, where he had gone to represent His Majesty King Eswatini III. The Minister of Natural Resources and Energy, Peter Pembe, says the ministry is working closely with other ministries on plans to address water harvesting. Preparations for the external examinations by the Exams Council of Eswatini are at an advanced stage. That brings us to the end of our news bulletin tonight. Up next is the weather forecast for selected towns. Good night, Eswatini.